Hello, this is No Face Movement, and it's November the 2nd, 2017. We're going to break it down. I'm putting warnings and watches for November of World War III or war with North Korea, possible EMP attack. Now, a lot by the Department of Defense, but we're here to prove it wrong. There is a similar blackout between November the 4th to November the 6th, and we're going to show you proof on October 30th. They did a drill too. All right. In this article, our Army Link radio group, hold on, give it a second. Army Link radio group responds to concern about training exercise during protests. So on Saturday, there's that Antifa protest, and they think it's kind of weird that this drill is going to be conducted through November the 4th to November the 6th. But the drill is going on. And it's official, folks. The Department military radio training exercise that will simulate a blackout condition is conceived during the protest, causes some people to raise concern. A Department of Defense radio communication program will simulate a power grid failure, which is leading some people to question if there will be electronic issues between those days. All right. Now, when I went to this website, I'm sorry. It said all the Department of Defense, all that stuff. It was all the way up till November the 1st last night, and I can't access this no more. But it's about the Department of Defense holding the electronic failure simulate blackout between November the 4th to November 6th. All right, and it's this page. Also, what's crazy, you guys got to think last year. All right, this ain't part of the issues. I just want people to wake up. All right. United States of America, all right, on Wednesday in 2016, all right, pledged to support a set of principles that give a green light for United Nations peacekeeper troops and police to use force to protect civilians in armed conflicts, all right, and that's going with 28 other nations that's part of this, I forgot what it's called, Kigali Principle. So if anything was to ever occur in the United States of America, United Nations peacekeepers will come in and settle down conflicts. That's from protests, from uprisings, to our economy collapsing, to the beginning of World War III. Now back to the issue. What I think was crazy is on October 30th, we hold a drill, all right, called Thunder, all right. And then on November the 4th to the 6th, the Department of Defense is simulating system failure to our electronic grid throughout the whole country for 2 days. All right. But on October 29th, just a couple days ago, all right, North Korea, all right, conducts mass evacuation drills as threat of war is heightened. All right. And then now, a couple days later, we are conducting electronic grid failure practice. All right. People forget that North Korea is a big country. And the reason I say that's a big country, it's a small country on the globe, but it's a big country. They got a lot of power players behind them that supports them. Russia, China, all right. We got the number 2 and number 4th global economies supporting them, where all our technology is made, all that stuff. And the reason these sanctions aren't holding is because of the new Silk Road, is because China's behind it, and we got Russia is behind it. When North Korea last month, in September, well, a month, almost 2 months now, launched missiles over Japan, and they keep on launching missiles, the reason for that is it's a military drill, folks. In the South China Sea, China is in a dispute with Japan over the islands, but China don't care because Japan can't stop them. And China been building army base just 200 kilometers south of South Korea. And they're conducting military drills all the time there. So our Navy moved up from the South China Sea to the north, all right, near South Korea. Then in North Korea keeps launches missiles in the ocean. And then during the summertime, we had a whole bunch of Navy boats colliding. What they're doing to our United States Pacific Navy is they're concentrating into one area. North Korea keeps launching missiles. You ain't gonna move your boats out there where North Korea keeps launching missiles, and then you're gonna put them in the South China Sea where they keep on having drills in Japan and China are going back at it. And then on the border over there, on the other side, by the Indian Sea, India and China is on the brinks of World War III too. All right, I'm just saying that North Korea is the wall. Before we're able to get to China or Russia mainland, we would have to go through China's military bases, or we have to go through North Korea that have been building up and getting all their support by Russia and China. Now, the sanctions are getting worse and worse, right? That's what they're telling us on the news for North Korea. All right. A CNN journalist actually found out that in a lot of these countries that are part of the UN that hold sanctions, that North Korea's firms, the main way that they're getting all this money back to North Korea and stuff is by them building statues and ammunition for third world countries and Africa. And the links are going to be at the bottom. All right, these are all North Korean made statues. All right, that gets all their money, and then they send it back to North Korea, and they also make animation, guns, stuff like that too. All right, now we're going to talk about the African Union. It's been created back in 2001. All right, and let's just get to the bottom of this. Overview. We're going to hit overview, because this is where stuff's going to get kind of weird, right? Nope, let's go back. Let's hit one more back. All right, we already know what the African Union is. It was created in 1991. All right, and I'm sorry for my tablet going slow and stuff. All right, but what's crazy, the main administrative capital of the African Union, all right, was built on January 28, 2012 during the 18th annual AU Summit. The complex was built by China State Construction Engineering Corporation. You're like, what does that got to do with North Korea? What does that got to do with North Korea building buildings and statues and doing ammunition in Africa? What does that got to do with it? Because China is doing the same thing that North Korea is doing in China. In the same countries. This is happening in Ethiopia, you got Zimbabwe, all that. And the reason for it is because the Silk Road's going through there. You see, we ain't never going to end North Korea. China needs North Korea because it's their wall on the Pacific Ocean from Japan. All right, North Korea is protecting China from Japan, and that's why China is going to war with Japan on the south. It's bigger than what we see, and they're conducting our military to a close conduction thing. All right, so North Korea is making money by building statues, ammunition. Same with China. All right, you got to also think North Korea was founded in 1945. Korea was divided after World War II. Korea was divided into two zones, with the north occupied by the Soviets and the south by the Americans. Korea used to be owned by Japan. All right, and then after World War II was divided into two areas. The north was controlled by the Soviets, like I just read, and the south controlled by us. Excuse me. And here in the picture, this is the One Belt, One Road, the Silk Road economy belt, and the 21st century maritime Silk Road. All the countries in the orange, even our allies, are getting part in this new Silk Road. The black lines, the blue lines, these are all the trade lines. All right. And what's crazy is here in Africa, where all those countries are beige, right? That's where North Korea and China do all their construction, and even in South Africa. All right, folks. What else is crazy is that last year, China got busted. All right, China's authority, spyware found on more than 700 million Android phones. Let me just read that again. Let me just really click your head, all right? Chinese authorities spyware found on more than 700 million Android phones. While the billionaires here in the West, in America, in Canada, all around the world, sent all, because we ain't got the manpower, we ain't got 1/3 of the world's population like China do, and it's cheap labor where it's cheap to make. Send it back here, then they're making a killer profit, right? They don't realize this. They don't realize that we are selling America. We are selling our countries away to China. That's why China's getting more powerful. That's why nothing's happening in North Korea. That's why Russia and China's holding drills going against our allies and having dispute in India and the South China Sea with Japan. Russia, the same. North Korea on the Baltic taking over Korea, taking over Georgia. You got to think Vladimir Putin was the head of the KGB, folks. This never left their mind, all right? And all our Androids, all our smartphones, all the technology in our cars nowadays, our DVD players, all this stuff is controlled by China. All right, and they find spyware. That only means one thing, folks. When we go to war with China, we can launch nuclear missiles and all this stuff. All China has to do is send a virus to all this malware that's in all our electronics, and our country is shut down. That's kind of scary. Also, today, North Korea, right? We sent bombers just 2 hours ago near North Korea's borders again. All right? Now, back to this warning for November the 4th to the 6th. So we're seeing the pattern. We're ready to draw the line. Who's our friends and who is our enemy. Right? So, October 29th, Kim Jong-un hold a mass evacuation drill. First time ever in North Korean history. Just 5-6 days later, in the United States of America, we're holding from November the 4th to the 6th, electronic grid failure. Alright? From an EMP, from a solar flare. There ain't no solar flares coming. This is impossible that this is happening. They are preparing for World War III. Just last year, Russia weakened and they infiltrated in the Northeast our power grid system. And this is what they're doing. The Department of Defense, November the 4th to the 6th, is holding a total system electronic collapse. Alright? North Korea is trying to put more satellites in outer space. And what's crazy is North Korea got a few satellites up in space, and 2 of them are over the United States of America. We already knew they're capable of doing EMPs, and we already know they got EMP technology. That was since 2013. China got satellites over us, just like we got satellites over them. So, our electronics, hacking, Russia made it weaker. That's why they got kicked out of the United States of America. We got all our phones, 700 million, and there's only 300 million people in the United States of America, but 700 million Android. We're not talking about iPhones that get built in China. We're not talking about all this other electronic stuff getting built in China that has spyware on it. So Russia's weakening our grid lines. China's infiltrated everybody with spyware. They could shut down. North Korea got EMPs. China and Russia EMPs. All right. North Korea holds a mass evacuation drill as we're threatening them. And they're the wall to Russia, China. And they keep on launching missiles in Japan and moving our Navy to the middle, closer to South Korea. And we keep moving away from the dispute in the China with their drills on the China Sea, the dispute between China and Japan. All right. Russia is also messing with the borders around NATO. They're holding these major drills. North Korea keeps launching missiles. All right. So they're doing this Department of Defense electronic system failure for a reason, folks. We're on the brinks of World War III. What's more devastating than a nuclear bomb is when a satellite is over our country and they launch an EMP and it kills our whole electronic system. You got 3 days to get out the city, folks. You ain't going to be able to drive your brand new cars that have been made since the millennium. You ain't going to have your cell phones, your smartwatches, any of that. And this is all part of the New World Order's plan to keep people divided. That's why Trump's in office, is to keep people divided. So when our system collapses, we ain't going to unite as one and try to take care of each other. What we should do, that's what we should do. We're going to fight, kill over food, all this stuff. And then after that, it's going to be China versus Russia. And that's the truth, folks. North Korea got powers to do an EMP, so can we. Almost all countries, it was satellites. And after they did that drill on the 29th, this is part of that November the 4th to the 6th Department of Defense Strategic Blackout Plan. It was called, they conducted Exercise Global Thunder. All right, the links are going to be at the bottom. And last but not least is that our Air Force, U.S. preparing to put nuclear bombers back on 24-hour alert. And they haven't done this since the Soviet Cold War ended in 1991, where they're reopening all these Air Force bases and putting us back on 24-hour nuclear because there's so much chaotic going around the world. So the point is this, folks. I want people to be prepared. The New World Order is keeping people divided. Race, color, creed, presidential election. So when our economy collapses, we are divided and not united. So that means that we can never come back into power. And then the war is going to go between China and Russia. North Korea is launching missiles to manipulate our Navy to be clustered, excuse my language, but to be concentrated in one area. That's why the Navy boats collided back in the summer. It's because of China. In the China Sea, China's holding the drills. North Korea's launching missiles. North Korea does a mass evacuation drill for the first time. We did Global Thunder the next day. And from November the 4th to the 6th, they're doing basically EMP and X-class on our whole electronic system. So something might happen. There ain't going to be no winners in World War III. It's global depopulation and no more superpowers. Since the UN is in almost all the major countries with the peacekeepers and their troops and other armed. Please like, subscribe. This is the No Face Movement. Moving until next time. Facing off.